What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 21 of the Potty Mouths podcast, also known as PMPI. And always, I'm your co-host, Greg.
And I'm Vinny. 21 Jump
We're
Street.
here
We made it.
21. Our podcast can legally drink.
That's right.
So today we will get into NCAA, NFL. There were a couple of awards given out in Major League Baseball last night. And then Vin's gonna hit you with a little college basketball as the season has started in the past few weeks. So we'll get right to it. Vin's up with NCAA.
NCAA football. What a weekend. What a weekend here we had. Let's start off with the Utah Utes going into Colorado. Colorado coming up with a big win here. Kind of was closer than the score dictates, especially the fourth quarter. I think the Utah turned the ball over a couple times, and then what wound up happening was Colorado took advantage of short fields. Travis Hunter had a broken play turn into a touchdown. Utah just couldn't get it together there, especially in the second half, if that makes any sense. But I watched the majority of this game. It was a pretty entertaining game until the end there. Dion and the boys come away with a win, and they continue to get involved with that. Hopefully their championship conference game. Did you watch any of the Dion versus your Utes?
Yeah, most of the first half, and you're right, it was kind of close, but then they pulled away. Zach Wilson's little brother played quarterback. I think he threw 3 picks for Utah. You're not going to win with a Wilson at quarterback. His name's Russ, and even that was close, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, you on the road for Utah, no Cam Rising. Defense actually got lit up, which I'm surprised. Surprising 49 put up on them, but Dion, you got to tip your cap to Dion. He's doing it. And we'll see where he ends up. I know you're not a big fan. I heard the Dallas Cowboys didn't get shot down earlier today on the podcast, but we'll see. I know Michael Irvin during that debacle of a Tyson Jake Paul thing said he's going to be in Jerry's ear about Dion, but Jerry really can't talk about that.
He was just on Michael Irvin was just on a show, I don't know, half an hour ago, and said that he 100% thinks that Deion Sanders will be the Dallas Cowboys coach.
Who's that?
Michael Irvin was on. I want to, one of the.
They said Mike Wilbon.
No, Michael Irvin. He was on today, and they asked him. He said he has a lot of inside sources that he thinks 100% almost that Deion is going to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And the conversation led into hurting the feelings of Dak if they drafted Shador also. And I say, who gives a shit? It doesn't even matter. Because then that's a whole other conversation for another day. But no, we'll see what happens with him. Deion,
I'm hearing Belichick. Belichick to Dallas, not Deion.
There's no chance he goes there because he can't have any control. He's a control maniac, you know that. Jerry controls everything.
Parcells did it.
Yeah, well, Bill Belichick needs to be the GM. He needs to sell popcorn. He needs to sub guys in. I really heard Belichick's really involved with Jacksonville. So, but we'll see. We'll see where that falls. Yeah, we'll see. Number 20, Clemson traveled to Pitt. This game was everything that we talked about. Close game, Pitt covering, Clemson winning. Kind of was hoping Pitt would pull it off there at the end, but 24-20, Clemson Tigers over the Pittsburgh Panthers. Nice ACC game there. Any thoughts on this ACC game? Did you see any of that one? Because I just saw highlights. I didn't really watch.
Yeah, I mean, I have the 4 box up during Saturdays. I have the 4 box up.
Okay.
Unless it was like a huge LSU game. So this was in the corner. I kept an eye on it. I didn't watch closely.
Okay.
But I never felt like Pittsburgh had a real chance. Just keeping an eye on it, seeing the score. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe late they had a drive or something. But I'm not surprised Clemson gets out of there with the W.
Number 25, Tulane Green Wave traveled to the Naval Academy. 35-0 victory for the Green Wave. I think we kind of set this up in the beginning of last show, saying that we thought Tulane was going to roll here, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, now they set up the championship game in that conference against Army, which should be a good one. And if Boise State falters, maybe someone sneaks in. But Army's gonna have to beat Notre Dame.
Boise almost did falter. They were down pretty. I don't want to say big, but they were down in the beginning of that San Jose State game this past weekend, and obviously turned it around and pulled off the victory. But talking about turning around and pulling out a victory, number 1 Oregon traveled to Wisconsin this past weekend, squeaked one out, 16-13. Your boy Dan Lanning was trying to be the hero there in the fourth quarter. Calls a fake punt. Calls a fake punt on a ridiculous. I still don't understand it. They were well in reach of scoring, just kicking a field goal. But that felt short. Wisconsin gets the ball back, minute and a half left, 2 plays in, guy throws a pick. Game over, iced it up. Oregon got the ball and finished it off. So Oregon escapes again.
Yeah,
and beats Wisconsin.
Oregon not looking good.
Not looking number one, right?
I watched like the middle of the game, and then once I saw Wisconsin couldn't do anything, it started in the second half, and then Oregon took the lead. I was like, this is over. Wisconsin can't move the ball. They don't have one of their typical stud running backs. They don't have. I know this is their backup quarterback they're using because Tyler Van Dyke's out, but Tyler Van Dyke, you would know, he's not very good. The Miami transfer. So Wisconsin's got to clear up some things on offense. They fired their OC. Fickle got rid of him after this game, so he clearly wasn't happy. I think one of his heyday Cincinnati teams probably wins that game, and now Oregon does not look like the top. I don't want to say top dog. I'll say top duck. I think Oregon's primed to be taken out by whoever they play.
I will say that
in the round of 8.
Yeah. Wisconsin defense obviously played well here to only limit them to 16 points, and I think that's their their what they're known for, aside from, like you said, their stud running back, but their defense has stepped up against this team. They played well against Penn State, so the defensive side's not your concern. It's when you said you can't move the ball and you can't score, and that's why they came out on the shit end of the stick in this one.
Yeah, they never looked. They never looked like they were gonna, get points.
No comfort
in every drive, and
it's a tough offense to watch. They're just I don't like watching them. They're boring. They always.
I know people are downplaying this because I think Oregon's played 8 straight weeks, and they've played I think maybe 3 different time zones 3 straight weeks. But if you're the number 1 team in the land, I know we're talking about kids, but if you know the quarterback's probably like 30. But if you know the number 1 team in the land, you got to do a little better than that against an unranked bad team.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I couldn't say it any better. Game of the night matchup: number 7 Tennessee going to Georgia. Georgia coming out with a win here, 31-17. I watched the first half. It wasn't very exciting. Not that I was really looking for such excitement in this SEC game, but didn't really hold my attention too much. And then I packed it in. Georgia comes out. Carson Beck actually had a decent game. A lot of drops on the Georgia receivers from what I saw and from what I did watch. But
no Bowers, no McConkey.
Yeah, so they Tennessee really couldn't do much moving the ball either. Their running back is very good, by the way. But I think the quarterback really didn't have too good of a game, in my opinion, from what I've seen him do in certain games. I don't know if he was short week of practice or whatever it might have been, but Georgia Bulldogs come out with a win here. They needed that win to stay really relevant here in that playoff conversation talk. I'm sure you watched this for a little bit.
For a little bit, and then I turned my attention to UFC. Um, and then during UFC, I was keeping an eye on the last game we'll talk about. But yeah, just Georgia looked in complete control to me from the jump.
Yeah.
Georgia needed this win. They could have been, eliminated with a loss. As good as they are, as talented as they are, so much needed win by Georgia. Not surprised by the score. Not surprised by the game flow. It went how I thought it would. Especially with Nico coming back from a concussion. Hopefully, he didn't come back too early, but Georgia does what Georgia does, and they're right there prepping for the playoff where they should be.
Yeah, number 12 as of last weekend. I'm not sure exactly where they stand right now. I'm sure it's a little bit above that. But good win for the Dogs. They needed it, like I said, to make this conversation more exciting. Kansas. Kansas goes to BYU in the night game at BYU, number 6 BYU. Kansas wins 17-13. BYU's undefeated season's over. Kansas Jayhawks come out on top. This is well past my bedtime on a Saturday. Did not get to catch any of this, but I'll be honest. I'm a little surprised at this whole scoring, and I was on the BYU train here from the beginning of the season as they started kind of putting it together, but this isn't going to help them much. I assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, they'll play Colorado in the conference game. Is that possible still?
Who's they?
BYU.
They should, right?
That's what I'm.
That should be the case. Now Kansas goes. Does Kansas play Colorado this week?
Let me check my docket. We'll take a peek at that. Let's see. Saturday, top 25.
Yeah, Colorado goes to Kansas.
Okay, so we are, and that's Big 12, right? So standings as of right now, BYU and Colorado stand at 6-1. Arizona State 5-2. Arizona State shit on Kansas State this past weekend. Lost that game. So yeah, that'll be an exciting situation to see if hopefully Colorado can hold up. And now I'm not sure what BYU's schedule is the rest of the way here after Kansas. They play Arizona State. That's going to be a tough game at Arizona State. And they play
Where's
Houston
that game
team.
now? Where's that conference championship game?
Where is that game? That's a good question. Big 12 championship game, isn't it? Usually like at like big Dr. Pepper headquarters and stuff. What do they do? Big 12 championship game. Let's take a peek quick. AT&T Stadium. Jerry World.
Okay.
Hopefully they have the curtains up.
Yeah, they have the curtains up for Tyson Paul.
Yeah, we don't want people's eyes to
But
be a problem.
yeah, so I think Colorado handled Kansas.
Yeah.
So I am expecting the BYU Colorado matchup. That could hurt. Maybe not. No, maybe not. I was gonna say that could hurt Colorado, but I don't think it will. That BYU has their loss out of the way, but no. So we'll see. Big game. Kansas can play spoiler twice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And that's the college slate. Unless you have is there a game you wanted to get in here that I didn't put down?
No, I mean, to me, the last weekend wasn't it was almost like a week 2 feel, like kind of, I don't know, nothing really super exciting. Well,
I thought it through. One LSU lost to Florida. It's embarrassing. 2, South Carolina got the win, right, against Missouri.
Yeah, late overtime, I think.
Yeah, that was a good one. I didn't watch too closely. And then the last one would be
Harvard Penn.
my darlings in the ACC, Louisville losing.
It's upset by Stanford.
To Stanford, yikes.
Yeah, I think there was like a play in that game, a penalty or something at the end from Louisville that kind of I don't know. I was reading kind of headline quick, but I tell you who looks good, and I hate to say this, Notre Dame. They
Yeah,
can kind of,
they
yeah.
took care of Virginia, but I think Virginia covered like we said they would.
No, Notre Dame. Well, I mean, depends. The line went down to 20, so I mean, at game time it was,
Oh, it did.
yeah, because I guess people believed in the
Okay.
Cavaliers, but and bullshit games. Penn State, Purdue. Purdue guy can't even figure out where the lines are on his own home field. Guy scores a touchdown, think he's out of bounds. It was that was embarrassing. Um, Nebraska game I watched actually. That was whatever, but no, it's coming down to the end here. So these last couple of weeks gonna make a big difference in what's gonna
Yeah, we
happen
have
in playoff show
next
tonight.
weekend is next weekend you have a rivalry week. It's always hard to say. Rivalry
Yeah,
week.
yeah, rivalry week. So yeah, we'll get into it. We'll see. We'll check back in on Thursday with our upcoming slate for Saturday, Thursday, Saturday, Friday, whatever days.
Yeah. And we go to the pro game now. And
Oh,
speaking of rivals, ain't no better rivals in the NFL than Pittsburgh and Baltimore. And good game. If you like defense, if you like violence, if you like chippiness, good game. And the Steelers, I think this is the second game this year. The Steelers don't get a touchdown on offense, but still win the game because Mike Tomlin knows how to coach them. He's the best. He's the best coach going. I don't care what anyone says. Um, and he's just doing it with defense. He's doing it with enough offense, and he's doing it with scheming and game planning and a pass rush that's always ready. So this game was pretty good. I was watching that stupid team in Jersey. Thought they were going to pull one out. So I didn't see the bulk of this game. Um, but good win. I know the Ravens tried to come back late. Um, tie it up 18 all, but they couldn't. And Pittsburgh gets a huge win in division, and we'll see how they can, finish that year with the gauntlet we talked about, I believe, last episode. So, did you see Ravens Steelers?
I watched a little bit of it. I was picking up my Chinese food at the time, and
Oh, nice. It's a
my
long
man in
order.
Farmingdale, yeah, my man in Farmingdale has the ticket going. So I'm sitting there, I was waiting, watching.
What was the
Um,
order?
well, we got some fried dumplings, um, chicken
Solid.
with broccoli,
Is this
chick.
Lotus? Is this Lotus?
Yeah, Lotus, my guy. Go see Mike. He'll take care of you.
The American?
No, he's
I was gonna say
no, he's a nice guy. I don't know what his real name is, but Mike, we call him Mike.
Michelangelo.
Yeah, some chicken fried rice. It was
We
great.
call
Good
him Mike.
meal.
Wait, has he introduced himself as Mike? Or you just call him
Yes.
Mike?
No,
Okay,
no, no,
okay.
no. Yeah, yeah. I don't do that. I'm not that guy. I don't just make it
Don't
up,
call
you
Mikey
know.
Lotus. We're hungry.
Yeah, no. He'll take care of you over there. You get some nice chips and duck sauce while you wait. Got the games on. He's got the 4 box in the corner.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a nice little gathering. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Steelers, I don't know. I know they're well coached. I know they win games like you said without scoring an offensive touchdown. Um, I'm I'm on the Steeler bandwagon here for a little bit. They always find a way, and Mike Tomlin always finds a way. And that was a huge win. And the Ravens, we know they're a good team. Obviously, they've had some good wins this year. But this is the game that you exactly expected: low scoring, defensive battle. But like you said, Mike Tomlin, great coach, coached them, figured it out. Uh, anytime you can hold the Ravens to 16 points, something's going right. So, hats off to the Steelers on this one.
Yeah, and we'll see. Tomlin's had some rough playoff performances, even though he's never had a losing season. So we'll see what they can do this year in a tough but open AFC. If you don't believe in the Chiefs, and we'll get to them later. Next game, Packers. I just put it because it's Packers are gonna Packer, Bears are gonna bear in this game, and the Packers I believe win LaFleur's 12th or 11th, or I guess 11th straight game against Chicago. When the Bears were lining up for a walk-off winning game-winning field goal, it gets blocked, right? So by a big mitt, and Packers get a win, and the story goes on where Rodgers once said it in that uniform: "I still own you," and now Jordan Love is continuing to own Chicago Bears.
Um, I expected better of the Packers in this game after what had went on last week with Chicago, getting rid of guys, coordinator, talking about maybe sitting Caleb down and getting back into the fundamentals, not really kind of burying him, with losses or, bad play. But I don't really know what I think in anything that you do, you obviously have to be out there and perform and get better. And sitting on the bench at this particular point isn't going to be the answer. So I thought the Packers would at least, I guess, NFL really is a weird world. But yeah, LaFleur owns them. Love is, I don't think he had a best game, but,
Like
they're
Watson and
Jalen Reed,
who's the can't always why can't I think of the running back?
Jacobs.
Jacobs, thank you. Watson and Jacobs did a lot in this game
Yeah,
to
and the
secure the
block field
win.
goal at the end, right? I mean, I was listening to somebody talk about they scouted the way that he kicks, and they knew that he kicks low line drives, and they had a chance to block it because I think pregame or day before they said if they don't, they'd be surprised if they don't block a kick, whether it was a punt or a field goal in against the Bears at some point because their special teams was, I guess, this week was, I don't know, practicing harder against the Bears special teams. I have no idea, but
Whatever works.
whatever works.
Maybe
Packers,
that was Rob Sala. Maybe that was his contribution to
maybe.
that win.
Yeah,
The
yeah. It's
consultant
his.
for Green Bay.
Would it have been his
Um,
fault if they kicked and made the field goal? The Bears.
yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing about that is now you start the conversation with, "Oh, the Bears going to ruin Caleb Williams because they're going to clearly get rid of this coaching staff. They're going to give him probably a new coordinator, new head coach, new offense. They got him all the weapons he needs, and the defense isn't bad at all. Now it's very important for the Bears to hire the right guy, the right
Can I ask
men,
a question?
the right coaches."
By the way, I
Yeah,
just looked at this just once. This is backwards here for a second. The Steelers schedule coming up isn't. You talk about gauntlet. You got to take a look at that. It's
gauntlet.
crazy
I don't know if Kansas City. I don't know if Kansas City will play everyone if they have
in
the
that
bye
game.
locked up, but they do have Kansas City. I believe they have Bengals twice.
You got the
The
Bengals
Browns can
twice
sling it at least,
and the Ravens again at
and the
Baltimore.
Ravens again. Yeah.
Here's my question, and it was my question from last year. It was my question going into this season. Is Caleb Williams like that good? Like that he should have been number one? I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you look at it now, you're like, well, Jaden Daniels is pretty damn good, right? I feel like
Knicks probably should have went top 10
now, right? I get, yeah. And then
now.
you got Drake May, who's
Rick
pretty
May looks
good
good.
too. Yeah. So I don't know. It's such a, obviously, we're looking at what the body of work is so far, but going into it, and I thought Jaden Daniels was the better. But Jaden Daniels, let's just compare the two of them because they're like 1 and 2, right? Jaden Daniels plays with, he doesn't have the weapons, right? I think he's got obviously a better coaching staff around him, a better support staff around him, um, and just plays with a confidence level that looks like he's played before. There's times in the games that Caleb Williams looks like this is the first time he's played. So they're
Yeah,
going to
that
need a
that
really big transition of, I don't, yeah. I mean, you tell me, like, what are your thoughts on the fact that he does have DJ Moore, he does have Odunze and these guys? Like, it's not like he's out there with, nobody.
I think that would be a nice spot 4 was it Ben Johnson, but I don't know if he'd go in division.
Yeah, I think
I have the name right? Why
yeah,
did Ben
yeah,
Johnson
yeah.
sound weird
Ben
coming out of my mouth?
Johnson.
All right.
No, it's correct. I feel like it's um
It's a
a,
good
a
spot for him. He's got weapons, but I don't know if he would want to be in the same division as
yeah, Campbell.
his boys and his old team.
I know. I just feel like it's a situation that needs to have somebody that's. I feel like Ben Johnson. I think I've said this before. Is going to go into a team that might have a choice of quarterback for him to work with, because I think that's obviously what his strengths are in offense and so on and so forth. I don't know if how Caleb Williams is going to. I think he needs a guy that's been around. You know, I'm not. I'm going to use the name, but I don't. There's no ties to this. But like Belichick would be a guy like, or somebody along the lines that's been successful, um, in my opinion, for what he needs. And I think if you would reverse this, if Ben Johnson and the Commander's job was open, I'd say Ben Johnson would be there in a heartbeat. So that's, I think, the difference in the situation, if that makes any sense.
I always I know he had Brady. I know he did things with Matt
Don't use him.
Castle. And
I'm just using as
no,
experience as
no.
far as
Belichick's always been a defensive guy to me.
Yeah.
So I don't think Belichick helps Caleb at all. And
Mike McCarthy help him?
Just to, maybe. And just to push back on a little bit what you said with Ben Johnson wanting his own quarterback. Essentially, if Ben Johnson takes that job, he's got the number 1 pick in Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I get it.
See what I'm saying? Like, I know it's not his pick, not his choice, but he does have the potential there at quarterback. And they're gonna. I think people said let's play Sargent. Maybe people in that locker room. I think that leak that some guys were saying, can we play? It's Sargent, right? Who's the back?
Yeah, the
Largent. Who the
backup
hell's the
quarterback.
backup? So I don't know what's happening there in that locker room, but I think it's probably I'll say it, second most important decision in Bears history, hiring this coach.
Yeah.
First would be hiring Ditka.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. So Falcons go to Denver and get absolutely dominated. Denver smothers them 38-6. Kirk Cousins looked awful. I think he was replaced by the Rook, right? Late?
Penix
Did he
played?
get a couple snaps in? I heard Penix played. I don't know if that's true. I did not watch this game, especially when the Falcons had like 6 points, like well into the third, I think, or whenever the hell they scored them. I know
was kind of
Bijan
shocked
did nothing
about
for
that
me.
game.
Drake London.
Nothing.
Yeah, you figured Kirk Cousins. Well, it wasn't a 1 p.m. game, was it?
No.
So
Penix did play. Yeah.
It's Kirk Cousins. But yeah, I think Penix got a few snaps. So that's interesting. But
that is interesting.
Yeah, Denver. I don't have Nick's stat line. We're not doing a football diaper dandies today. But yeah, Bo Nix.
Nix threw for 307 and 4 TDs.
Oh wow. He could pry that rookie of the year away from Jaden if Jaden's ribs are gonna impact his stats. So that's something to keep an eye on. If Nix is in the mix, I'll say Nix is in the mix for that award.
That's a Clyde Frazier term there.
And then next game, I'll let you touch on it. I'll just give the framework for you. Seahawks go to San Fran and get a very late rushing touchdown out of Geno.
Terrible.
Geno gets the 20-7 win over the Niners, who lost your boy with his brother's got the beak. Lost your MAGA boy, Bosa, for maybe
what does that have to do
multiple
with it?
weeks. He's in the news for all that.
He's
Thoughts
hurt.
On
Gerard Jennings is the only guy who came out to play last week. That's it. That's the story. They stink. Their season's over. The window's over. The window's shut. They're old. Okay. Their opportunity was last year. Going into this season with just, pieces of this guy's hurt, and Jennings has one great game early on, but they don't have Ayuk. Ayuk's there for the next 10 years. They're gonna stink. McCaffrey's hurt still, and I think he's just out there for I don't even know what, decoys, whatever. Mason's non-existent. Purdy throws an interception. The defense looked like fucking garbage. No, season's over for the Niners. You can rest everybody. Everybody can sit down and let the Rams
You
and
don't think
everybody
they
else.
can?
No.
You don't think they can catch a little fire and go on a run?
Let me give you the upcoming schedule, and you tell me what you think. All right? Play the Packers in Green Bay.
Winnable.
At Buffalo.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. That's Monday night. That's a Sunday night game, 8:30 in Buffalo, December 1st.
And that Bills off the bye, I believe.
Then you play the Bears. Okay.
Winnable.
That's fine. At home. Then you play the Rams at home.
Winnable because it's at home, and don't you guys own? You own them,
Yeah.
right?
No, except for the NFC Championship a couple years ago. Dolphins at the Dolphins.
Won't be too hot. Winnable.
Detroit Lions on a Monday night. Good night. That's the nail in the coffin.
What is that? So say they lose 3 of those games. What does that put their record at?
Puts their record at 6-8. They ain't gonna fucking go. They ain't going anywhere. They're 5-6 right now. Then they play the Patriots, Cardinals. I'm sorry. They play the I was looking at the wrong thing. After the Lions, Cardinals. That's it. At Arizona. So no, it's over.
I could see them beating the Cardinals to sneak in 7 seed or something, but who knows? You know them better than me. Yeah, good win for the Seahawks. That division's tight. Cardinals had the bye. Rams get the win. Breaking news?
No, Jose Siri's just heading to the Mets. That's all. Not bad.
God.
Not bad. He'll probably start opening day.
Speed and
he'll play an opening day roster. He'll be
maybe Soto was like, "Get me Siri."
Yeah, maybe that was part of the deal. Maybe that was part of the deal.
He's like, Siri should have signed with the Mets, and then Cohen was like, "You got to get the Siri guy."
Gotta get the Siri guy. We need him. Get everybody. Right, everybody named Siri.
We just talked
Niners,
about.
In my honest opinion, back to the Niners is that, and it's a lot of decisions have to be made here. Purdy, you gonna sign Purdy? I mean, he's under contract for 1 more year, but like big extension for Purdy. I mean, Ayuk's there now, and he was like a dog shit performer when he played. So I think if any, I was reading today they cut Samuel in the offseason because it's dead cap, and I guess they want to move on from him at this point.
You wouldn't really get picks for him?
Should have done it. I don't know what they're gonna get for him at this point. His contract's absurd.
Yeah.
So we're in trouble.
I don't know what's going on. Someone's knocking on my door.
What is going on? Yep, center field. Siri, he'll be starting opening day. Yep, him and McNeil 1 and 2 in the lineup.
God, please save us, Juan Soto. All right, next game. Speaking of Buffalo and going to Buffalo, Kansas City goes to Buffalo. Good game, early, tight, kind of back and forth, and then Buffalo pulls away late. And the late interception by Mahomes trying to do too much, and then Josh Allen breaks free for one to seal it. Great win for the Buffalo Bills, and they end the perfect season campaign for the Chiefs. So now the 72 Dolphins, there's not many left of them, can open up some champagne. I saw Larry Zonka.
Yeah.
So Larry Zonka with someone drinking champagne. So
yeah, we don't know who that was, right? Yeah.
I think I heard it was college teammate or friend or roommate or something, but I don't know if it
Uh-huh.
was a Dolphin. The late great Mercury Morris is probably popping bottles
Yes, he is.
wherever he is. Um, and yeah, good win for Buffalo, but Kansas City still has the easy track to probably the bye and home field if these guys play again, which you would think, unless Baltimore has something to say about that. Good game, fun game, always good. Did you catch this one? What'd you think?
I saw some highlights. Josh Allen just running over people. I think I had the Bills to win this game last week, if I'm not mistaken, to end the Kansas City reign because I fucking hate the Chiefs. Yeah, good win for the Bills. I tell you what, if Josh Allen wins sometime in the next year or two, it's probably gonna have a statue named for him at the stadium, and um, Buffalo could turn into. They could rename the whole area for him if that's the case. But that was a good win. That's a good, that's Josh Allen just reminding everybody that he's still here and he's still pretty damn good. And look, you said it the other day. Kansas City hasn't really played like a lights out game this year, right? Like gotten by in certain situations in games. Um,
Yeah,
obviously
statistically, this is my
won.
statistically it's going to be Mahomes' final. I mean, worst season. Sorry. Breaking news! Breaking news!
What? Whoa! Hold the phones.
Breaking news out of the NHL: Bruins fire their coach Jim Montgomery.
Yes,
That's all I
I
got
saw
for you.
that. Jimmy
That's all I got for
Montgomery.
you.
Yeah, that's just as good as the Siri trade.
But yeah, Kansas, Kansas City getting it done. We mentioned it with defense, with timely plays. They're getting Pacheco back, I believe, next weekend, not this weekend coming up, which is going to be a huge help. It's going to open up their offense. Kareem Hunt played fine, but Pacheco runs angry.
Oh yeah.
He's a beast back there. Um, so we'll see how that goes. And then lastly, the last game we'll get to is could be the last pile of dirt on the grave of the season for my Cincinnati Bengals. Um,
Do you have
in the
another team?
my only team, my only team.
No, I'm like going forward. You have somebody else you're going to be interested in?
Um, Good question. I'd have to look at the playoff trio when it's completed. Maybe
Well,
Minnesota. Get Justin
mm,
Jefferson some playoff wins.
all right,
Maybe
fair
Minnesota.
enough.
Um, but yeah. So in the 6 losses for they have 7 losses now. So maybe through 6 is the stat. Burrow has 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he's playing. He's having an MVP season on a bad team because their defense can't come up
Terrible.
big and they've been hurt. T. Higgins has missed 5 games. I think their better running back, Zach Moss, is now done for the year. I think he's a little better than Brown, but they're both good.
Mm.
Um, they have too many tight ends because they don't have a tight end. They have like 7 guys. Gesicki's fine. Um, Tough loss. Burrow, they came back. They were down at half by, I think, 3 scores. They came back. They just, and McPherson missed 2 field goals. They win the game if he hits one of them, I think.
Hmm.
And then Harbaugh's got that.
Yeah.
Listen, the Burrow lit up that defense, which was good. We went through their games. They didn't really play a
No.
juggernaut offense before the Bengals. Bengals with T. Higgins now. Um, Burrow was lights out in the second half, especially. And Herbert did enough in the first half. He didn't really do much in the second. He couldn't even hit receivers. I think he had like 7 straight incompletions, which is I think tied his career worst. So the Bengals D stepped up, but it wasn't enough. And then J.K. Dobbins, similar to the Buffalo Bills game, scampers for one late. Um, and they get out of there with 34-20. Well, they were home, but they get out of there with the 34-27 victory over the Bengals, who I've never seen. Like, I guess like Deshaun Watson on Houston put up monster numbers on a bad team, but they were a bad team to begin with. I've never seen Burrow. I think back to back. I think he's the first quarterback ever to have back to back games of like 300 yards, 3
Insanity.
touchdowns, maybe
Yeah.
no picks, and he lost both, something like that. So I've never seen anything like this. You know me, I love Burrow. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Not resume wise, but I think like playing wise, I think he's the best quarterback today in the NFL. And I think Jamar Chase has a argument for best receiver in the NFL today.
He's
I'd
not
still
happy.
take Jefferson a hair over him. Yeah, he's not happy at all. So I hope the owner comes out and pays Higgins and Chase. I probably won't pay both of them because he's a little cheap, but I hope he pays both of them and realizes that they have something special on offense, and they're going to need youth and speed on defense.
Joe
Did
Mixon
you
looks
watch the
good.
game? Yeah, that's a big loss. I thought Zach Moss could do,
Yeah, Zach Moss things.
80% of his production, but I guess not. But yeah, did you watch this game? Any
I
thoughts on
did.
the Chargers going forward?
Oh man. Yeah, so I did watch the game a little bit, not too much, but uh I just how many games are they gonna lose? It started off with the early on in the season. You just said everything about Burrow. You can't. His numbers are ridiculous. I have him on my fantasy team, and that's my only interest in the game. And
He's
I like
dominating.
Harbaugh. He's
He's
dominating.
completely dominating the NFL.
I have in the league. I have him and Chase Daniels, and when they click, I don't lose. Just want to throw that out there.
You have Chase Daniels. He
Jaden Daniels.
retired.
Sorry. Yeah, Jaden Daniels. Same thing.
So, man, I don't know how I feel about this anymore because if I'm not one to usually say things of really bad luck, but they've had a shit ton of bad luck, I think, and their defense isn't that good.
I didn't want to say that myself.
I say it. I'll say it right now. I mean, it's bad. I mean, you can go back to the Ravens game and that nonsense. I mean, those are whatever. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves for Burrow. Chase is off the charts. They don't have that running game like they used to have, but their defense is a real big problem. So, yeah, you're going to sign Jamar Chase. You're probably not going to sign Higgins, and you probably have to really, really figure out your defense and, get some guys on that side because, I mean, what did you say the record was?
Something in 7 now.
I mean, it could easily be 7 and something right now. So
I think they're 4-7.
Yeah, I mean that's how much bad luck it's been.
Yeah,
they
had the Ravens twice. They had this game.
Yep.
And they had the Chiefs. They easily almost coin flip could have 4 wins against 3 of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree. So I'll say it. Bad luck, and it's just been that type of season. But I just feel. I mean, and hats off, like you said, Harbaugh too. Like what they've done, and Herbert looked pretty good, like he's supposed to be, like everybody makes him out to be, and who they want him to be, and anoint him to be the a lot better than he, in my opinion, really is. If you really want to dig into his stats, take a look at them. Then they don't blow you away, but just an unfortunate situation for the Bengals, in my opinion.
I feel bad for Cincy if they're going to miss the playoffs because they have so many holes, and Burrow and Chase and like Trey Hendrickson, they cover up a lot of their holes that they have in the secondary on the offensive line at running back. So I feel bad. It's kind of the old pay the quarterback and then you pay the price. Literally, it happened to Flacco. They paid Flacco, and then that roster kind of faltered a little bit. Giants paid Eli. I don't know what, would they have the one run after he got his contract, and so it's always a risky situation when you go out and pay the quarterback. The Rams paid everyone and they traded all their first round picks, but now they're finally healthy. But the Rams will be in trouble if they hang on to guys too long.
I feel like they do.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Let's get in.
Uh,
Let's talk about some college basketball while we're sitting
this is-
here. And
This will be our, I guess, our college basketball. I'll pull up the Diaper Dandies image.
you can do that.
But this will be a little college basketball. A look at it from Vince.
It's what it is, in my opinion. It's a loaded up class of guys that I really think are a majority of one and dones. But you're gonna see a lot of contribution or top picks out of these guys coming out. Obviously, if everybody stays healthy and keeps producing like they're doing. But you got about 10 guys that are 8 to 10 guys that are freshmen impact players scoring some crazy numbers, and I'm just going to touch base on some of them. Kid out of Texas, Trey Johnson. He's true freshman. He broke Kevin Durant's record for most points scored in his debut. We're not talking about some slouch. Durant put up some monster numbers while he was there. So he's one of the guys that's playing well so far, and to look out for that Texas team. And Texas is one of those teams where every year I'm kind of like, oh yeah, they got a chance, or they're gonna be in the end, Sweet 16. But something always happens down there, and there's always some situation. But
So Trey Johnson,
Texas Hoops,
he gets
Texas
the woo.
Longhorns. Trey Johnson. Other guys, Rutgers has got two talented guys. Dylan Harper, Ron Harper's son, his brother played there. He has at least 20 points in his first 3 games so far this year. And their other phenom, Ace Bailey, he's averaging 17 points, 6 bounds, and he was hurt the first game or two, but he can do anything and everything, that kid. He is pretty lights out. They both are. Now, I don't know, the depth of Rutgers basketball at this point, but to get those guys, to get those kind of recruits in there is kind of says something about where that program's headed. And their coaching staff is obviously great at what they do. So these 2 guys for Rutgers, keep an eye on them. Kid from BYU.
So Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey.
Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. Igor Demon from BYU is having a good season so far for the Cougs.
Igor Demon?
Yeah, that's his name. Demon, maybe? How you
I
can
don't think
say
I
it.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of him.
He's having a good run so far. BYU not in the top 25, but it's a long season, and they're BYU sports. They're that's what they do, right? Duke's
Igor Demon.
Duke's. Woo!
Can you hear that?
Duke's,
Can you hear
I heard it. I heard it. Yeah. Duke's Big 2, Cooper Flagg, averaging 16.3
who cares? They can't beat Kentucky post Calipari.
9.5 rebounds, 4 assists per game, right, so far. And the kid Con Knuppel is his name, averaging 14 points, 4 bounds, 2 assists, 2.8 assists a game. That duo is pretty damn good. Kid out of Montford, Liam McNeely.
I'm not giving any Duke guys the woo.
You don't have to. Give this kid one, though. Liam McNeely.
I'm sorry. Give me the UConn kid again?
Liam McNeely.
I know.
Monster. Freshman.
Sounds like a boxer would be Tyson.
Yeah, no. He's got a double-double in all of his games so far for UConn. And we'll round it out with Boogie Fland. 2 guys. Boogie Fland, averaging 20 points a game for Arkansas. And if you can catch Baylor play, and if you can, the kid out of Lehigh, Edgecombe, is a special, freakish athlete, this kid. If you can get on, watch some of his highlights. He can shoot. He can play defense. He can
I'll watch a game. I'll watch it
jump,
come January. I'll be dialed in.
but he jumps out of the gym. He's incredible.
Who's the Baylor kid?
BJ Edgecombe.
And who's
BJ
the Lehigh
Edgecombe.
kid? The same kid?
BJ Edgecombe. Yeah, same guy.
So he transferred to Baylor?
No, Lehigh's a high school on Long Island.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, he played with Carmelo's kid.
I was thinking Liberty. I was thinking Liberty.
Carmelo's kid's on that Lehigh team this year. They're going to be playing at UBS. They're going to be playing against LeBron's kid. The other kid, they're going to play Sierra. I think it's December 13th, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I got to double check that, but I think Chaminade plays somebody. I think last year it was Chaminade, Holy Trinity, and then Montverde played Lehigh. And then
if it ain't Christ the King,
you're not involved.
I'm out.
You're out. All right, fair enough.
I'm kidding, but that was Diaper Dandies. Thank you, Vin.
Yeah, so keep an eye on some of these guys. It's gonna be a fun hoop season out there.
Before I get into MLB real quick, I just want to I have to mention UFC 309 was at the Garden this weekend. The co-main and the main were pretty damn impressive and entertaining, especially after Friday night's lackluster finale. Michael Chandler and Oliveira, great co-main. Oliveira kind of had the fight won through 3. With the last 2, Chandler was a monster. Chandler in the 5th round was actually had his back taken, and he stood up with Oliveira on his back and like backwards body slammed him twice. Crowd was going nuts. Even Oliveira was like sticking his tongue out. Entertaining as hell. Unfortunately, Chandler called out McGregor again after it. I wish he'd move on from that, but I guess he wants his money. And then the main event, John Bones Jones cements his GOAT status by back heel kicking, probably breaking multiple ribs of Stipe Miocic, who's a Hall of Famer himself. So we'll see what happens with John Jones if he continues to fight, which I think he's got one more in him. So that was pretty damn good. Obviously, UFC. It's on late, so I'm sure Vinny had no interest and was in Sleep World. But with that said, we'll get into MLB. It's award season, and they gave out the Rookie of the Year awards last night. AL goes to Luis Hill from the Yankees, which is a surprise. I thought Kowser would get it from Baltimore.
Disaster. What a fucking disaster.
I think we have a segment coming up after this. And then NL, also a little surprised too. I thought Merrill might get it because he was up longer, and they did make the playoffs, and he was a big part of that. But Paul Skenes, my guy, gets the Rookie of the Year. Stud rookie, started the All-Star game. I believe he's the 5th rookie to start the All-Star game and then also make Rookie of the Year, I believe. Thoughts, feelings before you get into your segment? Anything non-Vinny Vidivici related in response to that, or are we going right into it?
No, we're gonna go right into it.
All right, you said it. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is my favorite segment, especially on Tuesdays, Vinny Vidivici.
So obviously, you led into this with the 2 winners, Paul Skenes and Louis Gill, winning Rookie of the Year. First of all, Louis Gill looked like he just got out of the gym. He's on national TV, MLB Network, and it looks like he just got out of the gym. I don't know where he was. He might have been in a tent somewhere. It looked like he was in the. I don't know where he was. Everybody else had like a nice location behind them, and they had suits on. This guy, he's in sweats. I don't know. I was just blown away by his appearance. And then he wins, and I'm like, this is wild to me. First of all, Louis Gill was a rookie 2 years ago, okay, when he came into the MLB. So I don't understand how MLB, and this leads into my next point, MLB even has him up for the award. I'm assuming there's some other kids in the American League that had a season-long maybe rookie year beside him. I don't understand it. He had a shit second half, okay, And I know he started the All-Star game or was in the All-Star game because he had a really good first half, but he sucked in the second half, which is it's just, to me, as a rookie in 2022, to win this year doesn't really make sense to me. But it leads me to think and understand that MLB should have Rookie of the Year awards for pitchers only, because you're taking away from and a guy like Skenes who only played half the season, right? He wasn't there. He wasn't
He
on the
came
opening
up,
day roster.
I think he came up mid-May. Merrill was up opening day.
So unless you're having a Jacob deGrom season, winning Cy Youngs like he did, which those years he pitched the whole season, I don't understand. I mean, that's an MVP talk for him at that point. But guys who, in my opinion, pitchers compared to Merrill, Jackson Churio, Colton Cowser, who played 162 all year and got their teams into the playoffs because they're in the lineup day in and day out and their defense is off the charts, I just don't think is right. I just think that MLB can make their own. They have an award for everything. So you can give the Rookie of the Year awards to a pitcher, have their own, way of doing it and voting, however they want to do it, and have a position player award as well. Because you're taking away from these kids who played all season long. You said it before. These guys have played all year. Jackson, Merrill, Churio, Cowser. There's some other guys that were in the mix, but you're giving it to a guy that's been in the league for 3.5 years, and Paul Skenes, who played half the season, which Skenes is lights out. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's going to be great. He was a former catcher. I didn't know that until last night. I didn't even know he went to Air Force before that either, before LSU. But my argument is that pitchers probably, if and it's not every year, and I'm not saying it is, but if they're going to be in the conversation, pitch every 5 days, and or not going to pitch the whole season, then they can't be in the everyday conversation with guys that have played, put their, Jackson Merrill had a great year and put the Padres in a really, really great spot in the playoffs. But the Austin Wells, I mean, they couldn't find anybody else to put in the fucking TV beside him and Louis Gill. I thought it was just ridiculous last night. At least Austin Wells was like once again, he caught every day. He hit for power this year for them. It was a nice acquisition. But I think if you look at Colton Cowser's numbers, I think they're a little better than Wells. But point being, MLB can figure it out. They can give them their own, Rookie of the Year specialist award or something like that, but to take away from kids that play for 162 or all year round and make the opening day roster and pitching, and I get it, team control and things like that, but somebody has to help Louis Gill get dressed in the morning, and MLB has to figure out a better way to do this because you stole one from some of these other kids, and that's my rant.
That's his Vinny Vici. So what you're proposing is the Rookie Cy Young Award?
No, not a Rookie Cy Young, a rookie pitcher Rookie of the Year award.
Well, I would just call it the Rookie Cy, no?
Sure, yeah, you can do that. Or what was it? It used to be like the Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year, something like that. You can come up with something snazzy.
The Wrigley Gum Young Arm of the Year.
Yeah.
All right.
You can do something crazy like that.
I actually think it's a good thing. Listen, I'm biased.
Yeah, you are.
I actually think it's a good thing that Skenes won this award. Maybe MLB can actually freaking market someone for the first time ever. They kind of missed the boat with Trout. He also wasn't a willing dance partner. And they're not doing enough with guys like Bryce Harper, who has personality, and Fernando Tatis. Like I said, for the suspension, they cooled on him. But maybe Skenes can be their guy that, yeah, I mean, Soto's got personality. There's a little shimmy. We should be seeing the shimmy on 30 commercials during a baseball game instead of the Kelseys. Let's get Soto and Skenes in some heads. even though Skenes is all business. I figure
Austin Wells.
And Austin Wells. Let's get Austin Wells' mustache out of here. All right, speaking of out of here, Vin and I are out of here. We're going to come back to you, I believe, Thursday with a preview. I can't believe it's week 12 already. The NFL, week 13 college. We'll get into it. We'll talk about all the news. And I don't want to ever talk about the Jets or Cowboys on this podcast again until September. So we'll see what happens.
Still spring training.
80 days till spring training. Who will sign Soto? Who will sign Burns? Who will get Walker Buehler and the rest? Stay tuned. We will see you Thursday. Vin, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. See you Thursday.